Welcome to Football or Soccer, the podcast. I am Sam Palmer.
And I'm Tony Taafe.
How are you today, mate?
I'm good, mate. I had a good night's sleep in your guest room last night.
It was nice.
You got some good sheets down there.
You haven't stayed over for a while, have you?
It's been a minute. But it was good. Yeah.
So we've decided to do a podcast with a bit of a difference.
Bit of a difference.
So I think it's embracing. I don't think any podcast has ever been done. Like, obviously, we're huge football fans.
Huge.
But I think there's never been a podcast where we've embraced Americans.
I think we almost look down on them.
Yeah.
From a football point of view.
From a football point of view.
Or soccer point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously we've heard this big debate for years, football or soccer.
Yeah.
British people, English people get very upset when you say soccer.
Could you imagine? I could imagine being on a call with my little brother and saying, I'm going to watch the soccer tonight.
And I do say it now, because when you live here, you do say it.
I haven't said it, I'll be honest with you. I don't do that. But I think if I said that to someone at home, they'd hang up and block my number.
It's probably true.
And I wouldn't blame them.
But we're going to go through a little bit today.
Yeah.
We think there's a bit of a difference in the game between football and soccer. And we're gonna discuss some of them details. So we want to do a little bit different. So explain the pod, what's going on. This is episode 1. We're going to be doing some big interviews. We've got some big name interviews coming up. We want to talk about the grand game in America, giving you game analysis, anything football. We want to bring lots of things football. Kids football, there's going to be lots of football chat.
Yeah.
Basically, it's down the pub, having a chat about maybe differences, cultural differences, things like that as well. So I think probably it goes to say, where me and you have both live in America, for anyone not knowing.
Yeah.
I live in LA, you live in Arizona.
Yep.
You came originally to LA. We actually came to LA at the same time,
In the
didn't we?
same week.
Yeah, and that was
it was not even planned.
No, 2011, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2011,
It was, yeah,
February
yeah.
2011. I got it.
Yeah.
So that was the originally, and then I went off then to Australia, but you've been here ever since. So you've had a bit of a different journey here. You've been here a long time.
I've been here since 2011. Yeah.
And what do you do now?
I mean, I'm a headshot photographer now. I mean, a headshot photographer is the easy way to explain it. I own a couple of different headshot photography companies. We take care of mostly business type, corporate type headshots, Europe, Southeast Asia, obviously in the US as well. And it's been a fun 13 years.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah, and I do real estate.
Yeah.
So neither of us work in football. Probably our dream to have worked in
Yeah,
football. We
yeah.
were never going to make it as pro players.
No.
That's for sure. So
We weren't bad though.
no, I played at the weekend actually. Played on Friday night.
Yeah.
Come out of retirement, smacked them up. It was nice, smacking a load of kids up. We won 5-2. It was really nice.
Yeah.
It was playing a load of Americans who just don't get it like English people.
Do you know
they
what though?
love it as much.
What I find with playing with Americans, they're a little bit more aggressive than because when you play Sunday league or whatever
Yeah.
at home, everybody I think is on the same page. Here, I just think they're more aggressive. I don't know why. I think they have. It's almost like they got a chip on the shoulder.
Well,
like
I think
they
in
got a point to
sports in
prove.
general, it's probably a bigger talking point with sports in America because unlike in England, if your kid's good at sport here, they can go to college for free, which is
Yeah,
massive.
because they get the scholarship. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think kids for soccer, football, basketball, baseball, swimming, whatever it is, they're very competitive here. I notice it with like the people on sidelines. I think every parent thinks their son is going or daughter is going pro.
Yeah.
When actually they're pretty useless.
Can you get that at home?
I would think you probably do get it back at home.
No. I mean, can you get the scholarship thing at home?
What, back in England, come out here?
No. I mean, if you're good at something at home, like if you're good at football,
You don't have universities like here, do you? The universities are a big money spinner, aren't they? Because
yeah,
you get in debt by
it's
going
a
there.
300 grand debt,
Yeah.
basically.
And then
Yeah,
you
true.
then, I think, is it the NBA? You can't go you can't play in some of these sports without going to college. So I think the NFL, you have to go to college. Most of them have to go to college. Why? Because college earns out of
So
it.
if you're LeBron James,
LeBron James, I think, is one of the only ones that never went to college. But Bronny James has just come out of college.
yeah, but
I think they have to do at least a year.
Really?
Most of them.
so they're saying like if you don't go to college, don't even worry about it.
Well, they I think it's because they want the money coming for it. We need to look into that a bit more. Yeah, I don't want to give out a lot of fake news just on So let's get into it. I suppose first, before we go as well, you can follow us on Instagram, Football or Soccer Pod. That's on Instagram. On YouTube, Amrit, what are we on YouTube? Football or Soccer, just that. Podcast. So on YouTube, we're Football or Soccer Podcast. Follow that, subscribe, follow us on Instagram because we're going to have lots of giveaways. By the end of the show, we're going to do a giveaway. We've got a few signed shirts. We're going to give them away to anyone listening. But also send us your questions. DM us on Instagram if you've got any questions. We want everyone to be a part of this. We are really making this with American fans in mind, to not be patronising Brits like we usually are, and maybe explain things, because I know there's a lot of newer fans to the Premier League, because it's a global thing now. I see it with my kids' teams all the time, but maybe don't understand what Fergie time is. That we do. We'll get to Fergie time another day, but I think to get it started, football or soccer, right? The question, what is football to you?
Oh, man, that's a loaded question, isn't it? It's obviously you've got you got the times when you went to the game when you were a kid and the terrible smells, like if you go to the toilet.
Oh, you can smell that already.
West Ham
Yeah.
or Liverpool, you can smell it right away, can't you?
And even how bad the toilet was.
I mean, it was terrible.
Pee overflowing everywhere.
2 inches of whatever.
People smoking in the toilet. They still do that at
smoking
football now.
everywhere, yeah.
Like they smoke, there'd be the guy smoking in the toilet, and it's like the whole room's fogged out, and the kids have got to go in there.
The first game I went to, I was 8 years old. It was, I don't know why my dad thought this was a good idea, but he took me to Liverpool Man United game, and I was in the pub opposite the ground before the game. And do you ever remember when barmaids at home? It's different now, but only women used to work behind the bar, right? There used to be a man, and he was usually the bar manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. And remember, they used to wear these white blouses with the red bass sign on it, remember? So we were in this pub before the game. I was 8. It was 91, I think. And
title winning. Oh, no, title losing year.
No, for Liverpool? No, that was the...
Was 90 the year Arsenal won it, or 91? 91, wasn't it?
It was 91... 1991. This is 91.
Yeah, 92, yeah.
So anyway, we were in this pub before the game. As I say, I have no idea why my dad thought this would be a great time to take me to my first game. And it was Liverpool Man United. We were at the pub over the road from the ground, and there was this bunch of Man United fans in the corner.
Yeah.
So we're there, and obviously I'm a kid. I didn't really know much about anything. All of a sudden, these pint glasses start getting lobbed. from either side of the way, and then this barmaid pretty much dragged me behind the bar, and I just remember a white top anyway. So I mean that's that madness. I think also
we probably haven't even covered this. So Tony is from the north of England.
Yeah.
Liverpool is your team.
Right.
You're from a 2-team city, really. And no, Tranmere as well.
But
two big teams.
Much,
Liverpool and Everton.
Yeah,
Tony supports Liverpool.
Yeah.
I'm from London, East London, so I'm West Ham. So Tony's seen, well, in your lifetime, not loads of wins, but you've seen it.
I've seen more than you.
A lot more than me, that's what I'm saying. I've seen one thing in my whole lifetime. You've seen a lot more than that. But only one league title in your... Oh, no.
No.
In your adult life.
That I can remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So just that's to cover it. But I think what football as well, we're born into it.
You don't have a choice.
No, and that's what I think. If you're from America, that you're probably not born into it. You're actually choosing your team, maybe.
Yeah, I think that too. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they're born into other sports. Like I've got mates who, would American mates who would make sure that their sons or daughters or whoever supported the same NFL team.
Yeah.
That they do.
Yeah.
It's it's
Yeah,
the
and
same
I think that's big with
difference.
college football as well. They're usually big fans
crazy.
always through that.
Crazy.
But with us, we're kind of born into it. From the day I was born, it was my uncle actually. My dad was never big into football. He actually became big into football because of me.
Really?
He didn't really have a team that he followed. But then he became a big West Ham fan.
West Ham
Huge
season
fan
tickets,
now.
though.
With me because I wanted to go. So he kind of.
Really? Is that why?
He was the other way, really,
No
weirdly.
way. So you were the one who...
It was my uncle who bought me a West Ham teddy on the day I was born, which I was always a West Ham fan. That was it.
Wow.
There was no other choice.
So if you supported Spurs, your dad would have a Spurs season
Yeah.
ticket? Really?
Yeah. My dad was never, in actual fact, I don't like saying this, put him under the bus, but he used to go to Spurs more than any other team because his
Did he
mates
really?
were Spurs fans. So he'd go and watch football, but he never had a team. He wasn't, maybe his dad probably wasn't a big football man.
Yeah.
And that usually kind of happens. And that's probably a bit more like US, where these kids, their mums and dads are probably NFL, basketball, things like that. But these kids here are actually choosing their teams. And you look around, it's funny, I dropped my kids off to school Friday, and at the bus stop, there was this little kid there, must have been 12, and he had Declan Rice 41 on his Arsenal shirt. And I thought, it's mad how it's changing here now.
Do you think his mum and dad his dad must have been an Arsenal fan now?
No, because a lot of kids in my thing, they support City, Arsenal, Liverpool, or Man United, or Barcelona or Real Madrid.
Yeah.
They're the sort of 6 teams you see here. Sometimes Chelsea. So what it is they're seeing, obviously, on TikTok, the socials, things like that, and they're choosing. I like soccer now. Obviously, it's a lot. People play it a lot more here as well now.
Girls,
the kids.
girls play.
Girls is huge here.
Yeah.
Girls are really good at soccer here.
Yeah.
So I think they choose their team. So it's very different watching football, soccer here, because it's early in the morning. So obviously,
Golden. It's amazing.
I love it.
Unless you're going, if you were going to the game, you wouldn't want to be there
At 7 a.m.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
4:30. I had the
But to
worst
watch
game
it on the
this week.
telly,
Oh,
mate.
and I think that's something what's one of our differences to the UK. All our games, every single one, are live.
Every single one.
Whereas in the UK, you get 12 o'clock. You don't get any 3 o'clock.
None on a Saturday.
And you get a 4:30, don't you, I think? You get
On
the
a
late
Sunday.
game, don't you?
You don't, on a
Not
Sunday.
on a Saturday, do you? Yeah, on the Sunday.
Just on the Sunday.
Yeah.
On a Sunday,
Sunday you get
I
the 2
think you
games.
get two.
You get Super Sunday, don't you?
Yeah.
So here, every single game is live. So kids can watch it. And you've started to see that the British commentary, like CBS, Richards, Carra and Omri, they're doing it. Neville's over here now.
Neville's over here
It's becoming
now,
more
yeah.
lucrative. But I think there is a big difference between football and soccer. And personally, I think football's dead. I actually don't.
But qualify that though. When you
Yes,
say
we've got to go into that. I think the football I don't actually even though I watch every minute of pretty much every game, I don't love football now. What it's become, I find it quite boring. With that, and I think what we watch now is actually soccer.
So, no, I agree with that. But when you say that, do you mean? Because for me, when somebody says what you've just said, I think, well, yeah, it's because it's become nicer.
Yes,
It's become more palatable for the wider audience. Whereas, maybe
we were used to was very
what we were used to was
war.
rough. It was
which you still get as an away. Like if you go to the Premiership as an away fan, you still get. So the away fans are still the
away
hardcore.
fans. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I personally love going away with West Ham. It's my absolute favourite thing in the world.
It's always the best. Unless it's a really, really big game at home, the away games are always the part where you still feel like you're part of
the old club.
Yeah.
Well, because at West Ham especially, it's the guys that go have been going since I was a kid. So I know people there
Yeah.
that I've seen since I was 8 years of age, 10, 11. And they're like, well, we're our dad's mates and things like that. So it's still the same people, which is actually quite interesting. That, for me, is kind of football. But then this newer, I suppose, as you said, look, they made it nicer. They made it more commercial.
Yeah.
With it's
Family
become
friendly.
family friendly. And it is nice. Look, when we went, there was no women or girls
No.
in the thing.
And
Even very
also-
few small kids.
Yeah.
There wasn't loads of
no,
kids, was
no. It was
was a real
mostly
man's thing.
man who stunk,
Yeah.
wasn't it? You
But
know? We were one of them. So
yeah, and I think that changed. Obviously, they commercialised it, they made it nice. Obviously, they didn't want fighting, they didn't want racism, they didn't want homophobia, all them things, which actually, yes, has been a great change to the game. But I think with it, they lost a little bit of what it became commercialised. Obviously, the hospitalities and things like that. You now get a lot of. I saw it at Liverpool last week. They were saying, I think it was when Liverpool lost to Forest. Did Liverpool lose to Forest at home?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were saying when Liverpool were losing that there was this lull in the crowd. But what they were saying was because a lot of the people weren't actually Liverpool fans. They were like travelling to the UK,
They were
coming to
tourists,
watch it.
yeah.
And you get that. And I think City probably get that a lot now.
Yeah.
United's always got that.
United's had it for the United and Liverpool are probably well, actually no. Apart from the London clubs, United and Liverpool are probably the two biggest
Global.
tourist attractions for
And I
football
think
fans.
City are now. I actually think it's weird for America. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
City's
City
number
now.
one
Yeah, probably City. as
because a
well,
lot
yeah.
of kids have taken it on. They come on, they see City.
Yeah.
So I think football's changed. I think it's changed by the way it's played. I think it's very tactical now. Since Guardiola, you see this constant tactics. You hear about the coaches more. You hear set piece coaches are coming in and out. There's all these mental health people, the physio. You hear about this sporting directors. You never used to hear about that really in football.
It's not that you never used to hear about it. It didn't exist.
It didn't exist. Yeah,
It didn't exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The
It's good. It's good that it does, to a certain extent, because, for whatever reason they're there, and that's, I'm sure there's a reason for it. But I do definitely think that the whole football or soccer thing, it's because now even the Premier League, it's soccer.
I
It's not
do
football.
agree. I really do agree.
But is it good or bad though?
It's different, and it's probably not what I like.
It's not what
personally.
I like. It's not what I like.
Because we were brought up on the raw product.
Yeah.
Which I think you see now. There's not that charismatic flair player that every team had. You think every team?
Like who?
Southampton had Matt Letizia. West Ham had Paolo Di Canio. Eyal Berkovic. Who would have been Liverpool's sort of
Flair player? I mean, we've had a few. Steve McManaman comes to mind. straight away.
McManaman? Yeah, there's another one.
But
it was more almost like the Leicester team, Man City, Georgie Kinkladze.
Remember him?
That they were like legends.
Yeah,
Because
true,
actually,
yeah.
probably actually the bigger teams had, like Man United, they had more structure, and it wasn't just a guy going wild playing.
Yeah.
But them smaller teams, Derby, Palawanchop, they were like kind of
I forgot about him.
They weren't like coachable people. They were like
No.
they were flair. Arsenal, Dennis Bergkamp, one of the greatest.
Zola.
Exactly. There you go. Another one. So I think that player,
I think he's the best Arsenal player ever, by the way, Bergkamp.
he's up there.
He's I remember that goal against, was it Newcastle? Where it
Oh,
came
he
to him
spun it when he
and
spins it back round.
Was
This is
that
probably the greatest ever? Yeah, it was Newcastle. And the one he does against Leicester, where he pulls it over the head and then puts it in, volleys it in. I think it's over Matty Elliott head. But I saw a quote from Dennis Bergkamp the other day. It was on Instagram, and he was saying, when I was a kid, I played for 4 hours a night, 3 hours a night. And I played on gravel, I played on grass, I played on concrete, whatever surface there was. I made a go out of anything, and I kicked the ball against the wall, and it used the outside of my foot, the inside of the foot. I touched it with my back, my neck, my head, all these things. And he said, now kids don't go outside and play at all. He said, so he was playing 30 to 40 hours a week more than a kid today.
Right.
And sorry, not 34, like 10 hours a week, like 34 hours a month, more than a kid today. And he said, so how do you on earth could you ever replicate another Dennis Bergkamp if you're not doing that?
He said that.
Yeah. And it was actually because he's saying that number 10 position, which is that flair player. He said because in the academies now,
his touch.
Yeah, because it's kicked against the wall.
Yeah,
and if kids want to look at someone, go back and look at Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp was a Dutchman that played for Arsenal. Was one of the greatest, in Arsenal's probably greatest spell ever at the club. He was a number 10. He played with Thierry Henry up front. He was incredible. He was just, Ian Wright says he was the best. Like the people they played with, they say it. But you should go and have a look at another one that I saw on Instagram. If any kids or young or fathers or anyone, mothers listening, go and have a look at Dimitar Berbatov, the old Man United striker.
Similar, right?
Very similar player, exactly the same.
Yeah.
He does these things on Instagram where it's called, he plays it basically, ball on the wall, I think he calls it.
Oh, does he?
And he's got this wall and he just kicks it and he shows you what to do. It's all you need for your touch. And he if you watch him pinging this ball against this wall, still now, and he's, 50 now? He's 49,
Probably,
48. His touch is insane. He touches it with every part of his foot. Yeah. And he says that's all you need.
I think till the day he dies, there's no way that man's losing his touch.
No. And but now kids are robots, I think. You see coaches, even at Sunday League level.
You know more about this than me, obviously, because you got the boys and you go and watch them play football and stuff. So what's the difference that you see? You know, going back to between football and soccer, right? So we obviously both played Sunday League, Saturday League, all that kind of stuff when we were growing up. But when you see the boys now and what their coaches are teaching them, what's the difference between what they're being taught here, or even not even here, because I'm sure it's not that dissimilar at home, but what's the difference between what you're seeing now versus when we were kids?
I think there's two things. I think there's one of the things, it's overcoached.
Now.
And that's probably in England a little bit as well.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it, because kids now, and Harry Redknapp said that the other day, he said that before, you have to drag kids to football now. He said, but you didn't have to drag them, and they're being coached by a coach, but you didn't have to drag. But that also comes from the world. Kids don't play outside anymore. And I wouldn't let my kids go and play outside.
No, of
right?
course, yeah.
So, but I mean, think of the hours.
You've got to, like last night we were playing with the kids here.
I'm lucky.
How good was that?
Pitch.
It was
good. That's good playing with your dad, right?
Yeah.
One thing. What do you miss by playing outdoors, right? You miss older versus younger, stronger versus weaker.
Yeah.
You miss who's the funny kid, who's the tough kid, who can you push far enough, who's the weak kid, who's can't do this, who can't do that. Winning a game, being the youngest kid and the oldest kid, patting you on the back, getting that self-esteem. I think that is a massive part.
It's unforgiving when you're playing out on the street. It doesn't matter if you're 10 and the lads you're playing with are 13. The lads who are 13 don't care that you're 10.
No, and they're going to hit you hard, and because they're going to win.
And also, you don't want to be, there is left field, but you don't want to be the person who hits it over the fence, because you're probably never getting the ball back.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have to jump in someone's back garden to get the ball back.
Wrestle the dog and...
Like all that kind of stuff.
Or you've ruined the game and everyone's got the arm.
Yeah. Where's me? You owe me a ball.
Yeah.
That was my ball.
Yeah.
Now it's in... I don't even know what garden it's in now. We couldn't find it.
It's funny though. Yeah. But so I think playing outside is a massive thing that the kids are missing today. Because I think they don't have hunger. So... And then I think there's over-coaching, which is everyone's obsessed to be Pep Guardiola now. And so everywhere you go now, the keeper has to play it out, right? And we'll get to that later in the Premiership, whatever. But they roll it out and they has to play this lovely football and things like that. But everyone plays the same. So there's no individuality. And I've seen where the number 10, the guy who's the silkiest, runs and the coach will say, pass the ball, pass the ball, pass the ball.
As soon as they get it?
Yeah, kind of, because it's not in their move and it doesn't look as good. But who was it that said passing a ball looks better than going long and heading the ball in.
I mean, it does look better.
I don't know if it does.
It looks better.
See, I don't. I disagree. See, I think the art of crossing the ball.
I'm not
and
saying
someone smashing a
I'm
header
not saying
past the
it
keeper.
is better, but it looks better.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, okay,
I've never agreed with that because I like different sides of the game. So I think that's where it gets lost. I'm not, maybe because I've always been a team that's an underdog. Maybe I've never seen that pretty football.
Tell me this though, would you rather West Ham win like Guardiola's Barcelona or Vinnie Jones's Wimbledon?
Personally,
Get
Vinnie
the fuck
Jones
out
is
of here.
Wimbledon.
Get the fuck off.
No, I don't see. I hate Pep's football. I hate it.
No, but
I hate that Barcelona team.
No.
I reckon I'm
that
the
Barcelona
only,
team.
I reckon I'm the
that
only
was the best
person
team that's ever existed.
I agree with that for what they did. They were also the most fucking boring team that ever existed. Yeah, Messi was doing his stuff.
No,
I
don't agree.
Putting that one out there, that the greatest Barcelona team ever. I would much rather I would take a Man United team over that team any day of the week.
What, like down the wing?
Down
cross?
the wings, crossing the ball, great finishing, Fergie time. Like actually, I'm talking about the Man United team of the '99.
It's more dynamic.
And then the 2008.
I mean, listen, I suppose I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite saying that because I loved, obviously, and still do, Jurgen Klopp, and his style of football was a lot more. It was never really long ball.
No,
but it was get the ball to the forwards as quickly as you can.
put pressure.
Yeah.
Forwards putting higher pressure on the centre backs to make a mistake.
But still,
football has
I
changed.
still think you're full of shit.
No, I do. I couldn't care less if West Ham won, to be honest with you. That's the truth.
Yeah.
But like we said earlier about the games in the morning, it is a big difference here watching sport, like football, soccer, because obviously you don't do it with drink, which is a big part.
You do it with a coffee.
Listen, there's probably some people listening that do have getting up and drinking a bottle of vodka.
That's true as well, yeah.
If you're that person, maybe go seek a
yeah.
professional.
Yeah,
but
for the most part, there's something a bit different about doing it before your day starts, almost.
But 4:30, it's one game, whatever the early game at the time of the minute is a 4:30.
So that's 12:30 at home,
Yeah.
4:30 here.
It's 4:30 a.m.
That's
That
heavy.
is a killer.
Yeah,
I was that one this week.
Yeah, I
West
know,
Ham
yeah.
versus Tottenham,
Yeah.
which we got
And
battered
that
in.
was
A whitewash. Doing that one, but usually they're like 7 a.m. Then there's like a 9:30.
9 a.m. Yeah.
And then Champions League are all sort of midday.
Champions League for me is perfect unless I'm shooting someone.
Yeah.
So if I'm in the office...
Just clarify that you don't mean as a hitman.
No, I don't mean with the camera. Yeah. If I'm photographing someone, I should say. But no, unless I'm photographing someone, and if I know Liverpool are playing a big Champions League game especially, I just won't book a shoot.
Yeah.
Because, but also, even if I'm in work, you have the different computers and stuff, I'll always have it on in the background.
Yeah.
And
I do as well.
But you know what, though? If I'm fortunate because I work for myself that I can do that. If I had a
9 to 5 job, regular.
If I had a normal job,
you wouldn't be able to.
I probably wouldn't even, I'd probably just lose a little bit of interest because you don't have a choice.
It's funny, the Champions League I watch less of because of work. Because I'd be at work.
But if West Ham were in the Champions League, you'd watch it.
I wouldn't be going to work. I'd be there.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Look, it's different for fans of this country. Obviously, they can't go and watch it live.
No,
very few can. Obviously, people do, but they can't.
But it's like a vacation. It's a holiday.
Whole vacation.
There you go. Holiday or vacation.
Yeah, exactly. See, we're getting there. You've got to stick with us on this. It's trousers or pants.
Sneakers or trainees. What do you call them? You call them trainers in London?
Yeah, trainers, yeah.
We call them trainees.
Trainees, that's someone that works for me. But so there is different, but I actually love watching, I love watching the game in the morning. I love it.
Yeah,
because it doesn't ruin my day.
Yeah.
You get your whole day. It's really funny. When I go back to England, and I start watching it, it's weird because even though you watch for the same amount of time, I'll watch the 12 o'clock, then I'll roll into the 3 o'clock,
Yeah.
then I'll watch the late one if it's
When
Sunday.
you're talking about home time, no, not
Home time,
12
yeah,
o'clock.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no, even for that day, so it'd be a 12 o'clock, then a 3 o'clock. Or
Not here, though.
No,
At home.
at home.
Yeah.
So you have the 12 p.m. Because no, there is a 12 p.m. here, which is the 8 p.m. at
Right.
home for Champions
Yeah,
League.
yeah,
Stick with us on this one. But if I go home, I realise Petra really notices and says, "All you do is watch sport," and I say, "I don't. It's not any different to what I watch at home, but you don't notice it. I've been up since 4:30."
Yeah.
So
That's a good point. I never thought of it like that. Yeah.
but also I'll go down the pub and watch it.
Yeah.
So you're then drinking more with it. Or if I go to the game, I'll go with the boys. I might watch the early one, go out to the pub, watch the early game, then go to the game, stay out a bit, then watch the late game if it's a Sunday, and then go back home. So you've been out like 10 hours, rolling at sort of like 10 p.m.
Done.
You've been out 10 hours.
Yeah.
And
whereas here, you have the
you might not watch every single one of them. You might miss that early game.
right,
if it's,
but you're spending 3 hours instead of 10
yeah.
because it's done by 9:30.
Yeah.
It's done here.
So it is a lot more. So you end up drinking more, things like that at home. So it's a different kind of fan here. And I think sometimes you look at the kids, like obviously kids in England might be dragged along. Like my boys, they're not like, they're into it, but they're not what I was. And
You were saying they're more into the players than the teams
yeah, so I think kids now are definitely, because of social media,
because the short clips.
like they like my boys, and even like my boy, I've got two boys. One loves football. One he's not that bothered, but he knows about it because he hears about it. But he knows
He
who
doesn't
Ronaldo-
have any choice.
Yeah, he's kind of he knows who Neymar is. He knows, and they love them.
Yeah.
They absolutely love these players. But I think they'd follow them to different teams.
Right.
Like my boy knows what Ronaldo's done
In Saudi.
in Saudi every week. He says Ronaldo scored today or something like that.
Wow, that-
And it's like, wow, like how do you know?
I
Like
don't even know what team.
Is it
does he
Al
play
Hilal?
for? I don't know.
I don't even know if I've got that wrong. I might have got that wrong, but it's not a league that I follow. I've got to be honest. With you. But that's so it is different. So in some ways, the kids here, they don't go to games. The dads and mums are not big soccer fans. So in some ways, they're a little bit more dedicated to the sport than we are because they don't get to like they're not hearing their mums and dads talk about it all day. Like
But it's
we
right
did.
there, though, isn't it, in front of them?
But that's different. So
The
that's what I mean.
access is
The access has made them able to follow it the same as an English fan. So it is good. Like there's a couple of boys when my boys football, they're both Man City fans. They could tell me everything about Man City.
really.
Absolutely everything. They're going on their holiday this year. The mum said to me the other day, they're taking their family vacation to Manchester.
Fuck off.
I know, honestly, so they can go to the Manchester City soccer school. They're going. They're fanatics. All you see them is in Man City clothes, and you think fair play. Like wow, they love it. But that's the difference. So that's a bit of what we're going to be discussing on the pod.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming forward, we're going to
There's
try
all
and
the
bring it always
cultural
back.
differences, right? And
Yeah.
fan culture.
I think fan culture in American sports to English sports to European sports is totally different.
You don't. I mean, we've obviously both been to our fair share of MLS games, for example. You don't really see away fans. There's not even
it's
an
too
away
big, the
section.
country.
Right, but I mean, even if, I mean...
LA Galaxy are playing LAFC, you probably get a bit more of a...
Yeah, of course, because they're in the same
same
city,
city.
but and the grounds are like 15
Yeah.
minutes away from each other. But if you've got... Seattle Sounders are big
Yeah.
here, right? And what's that? That's a 90-minute flight, 2-hour flight maybe. You would
You'll get
I
a few
don't
people
think-
that live in LA from
exactly
Seattle
who
that
are
might
from
go.
Seattle, yeah. Whereas at home, and I know it's a geographical thing, but you will get people from Newcastle going to Bournemouth.
At Bournemouth, which is
Thousands of people.
and drive.
And
It'd
drive.
be like a 9-hour, 6-hour drive or something.
Yeah, 9 hours.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah.
With
and then,
traffic.
And then maybe even drive back,
Yeah.
on the same day. You don't get that here. The fan culture here is so different where I think people, obviously they'll support who their parents support or whatever, but you don't get people traveling to away games here.
No.
It just doesn't happen. And I know it's not football, but football or soccer, but I don't think you get it in the NFL either.
No, you wouldn't get...
Like, you don't get an away section.
Same. They sit together. So you don't get that rivalry, you know, like that chanting.
Yeah.
And if you go to LAFC, for example, I went to one of their first ever games, and they were a new club, and they've got this kind of like the yellow wall, Dortmund,
Oh,
right?
they do? Yeah.
But it's completely fake.
And is this some fella with a
microphone? They all sing. But they sing from the beginning of the game to the end. They do not stop. Like, it's incredible when you watch it, but it's like a fake atmosphere.
Well,
it's choreographed.
It's choreographed. I think it's exactly that. I think
it does sound amazing. You know, when you go there, you go, "This is pretty good."
Well, it sounds.
But you
like
also know it's fake.
It sounds like one of those Eastern European grounds.
Yeah.
Where there's just a gang of 5,000 maniacs.
Yeah, they've tried to make it.
They try to make it that. They do it at Austin. I think they do it at Miami. Miami as well. I mean, listen, the fact that Miami, because we're in the US, right? So they have the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. Then there's a playoff, and then whoever wins the national title.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know what it's called. But the fact that Miami. And I'm a big admirer of David Beckham and stuff like that, which might sound a strange thing to say from a Liverpool fan, but I like him. But the fact that they've only existed for I think 5 years, is it?
It's nothing, is it?
And they're already winning. They're already the best team in the country.
Yeah, they're winning the league, aren't they?
That's bananas.
It is.
That's soccer. That's soccer.
Yeah.
Right there. Is that you could just say, okay,
we're going to pump a bit of money in, we're going to do it, and we're going to get
and we're going to be the best. End of story.
Also, you've got to get your recruitment right, but that, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, Suarez, Messi,
Busquets, and Alba.
Jordi Alba, yeah.
So they put some good things around it. So it's good.
Yeah.
But we're going to move on. So every week we're going to give a little bit of, we're going to talk about the Premiership. Mm-hmm. The last week. So yesterday, this weekend, obviously, we're filming this on Monday. So you're getting it. We haven't had the last game, which I think is
Forest and Crystal Palace, is it?
Forest Palace. We haven't seen that, but good weekend.
Also, we don't care about that.
Yeah, Forest and Palace fans.
No, it's not really.
Yeah. So interesting weekend this weekend. Obviously, the biggest talking point was probably Arsenal losing.
Yeah.
Lost a bit of pace on the title. Sending off early.
Again,
think it was a sending off.
Third time. No, that was a sending off.
I agree.
Yeah.
The third time they've had a player sent off this year.
Third time, yeah.
Is it 8 or 9 games so far? Probably should know that.
Yeah, we probably should know
it's,
that. Yeah. It's one or the other. I think it's 8.
So they have they got a bit of a discipline problem?
I don't think they've got. I mean, they've got. I wouldn't even call it a problem. They've got a manager. Mikel Arteta is very abrasive.
Yeah,
he loves to, he loves to make his presence known, and that obviously reflects on the team.
Yeah,
and I like that. I like it. Look, if it was Liverpool, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Arsene Wenger had the same problem, if you remember.
He did, yeah. He had one of the worst.
Yeah, so Arsenal are the most red-carded team in Premiership history.
Yeah.
Patrick Vieira, who used to play for Arsenal years ago, Arsenal went years without being with a season without being beaten, called the Invincibles. I think the only other team that ever done it was Forest.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm sure it was Forest that done it. Patrick Vieira in that time was their captain. He'd been sent off 8 times in that period, which was a lot of.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
But they were a nasty team.
What a player, though.
But they wanted to win.
Yeah.
This team wants to win. But is that going to cost them for the title this year?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so, because if it does, then it means Liverpool might be in with a chance, but it's City, isn't it?
Yeah,
look at yesterday. City. We were on our WhatsApp group saying it's inevitable. There's no doubt. So with the last kick
City
of the game,
were playing Wolves.
The last header of the game.
And they were 1-1 up until, and I've got to say, I watched that game, and I've watched a lot of City this year, and I've got to say, I find it quite boring because it is just pass. But what it seems to me this year is they overload that centre of midfield so much that there's no space in there. And Haaland doesn't seem to get the ball. And it seems to be...
Haaland's just there for the chances. Haaland's there for the balls. He never comes... But you can't doubt it. You can't question him because of his numbers.
But then John Stones, he done it against Arsenal to get him...
Yeah, he did.
The draw?
I think,
draw?
Yeah, it was. And that was, I think, the only 2 goals he scored for City. I might be wrong saying that, but I think I don't think I am. I like John Stones a lot.
So do I, but I've got to say I don't think City look as strong at the back this year, and I don't know whether it's
because
they haven't got Rodri
thing.
Maybe they just don't. For some reason, they don't look as sure. They're leaking goals this year that I don't think they usually would, or maybe it is they're getting the same, but they're just not outscoring teams that they usually do.
You know what though? They do this every year. City
start never great today.
Start strong.
They're very similar to Man United in a sense.
Man United,
the of old.
Yeah.
Not Man United
Yeah. It's like, United could be 6 points behind.
Yeah.
Whoever, Newcastle or Arsenal or even Liverpool.
They're famously 9 or 12 points behind at one point, wouldn't they?
And then they'll just win 19 games on the trot.
And City do get better, buddy. After Christmas, City always get better.
It's Pep.
It's weird though. Foden doesn't seem to be getting in the team at the moment since the World Cup. So I don't know what's going on there.
Well, he was sick though. No, I think
maybe he's going to rest him a little bit for the back end of the season.
Maybe, yeah. But I think he had some weird. I don't know. Don't want to say weird. He had an illness. I don't know what it was. Where he after the
World Cup,
after
the
Euros, he missed. I think like the first 3 or 4 weeks.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe he wasn't up to speed.
Yeah.
But John Stones comes up, and it was a bit of a controversial goal because
yeah,
I felt sorry for Wolves. I've got to say they defended so well.
I felt sorry for Wolves because it was Wolves, and they're
not doing well.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, I really like Gary O'Neill as a manager.
Him as well. I do.
Ex-West Ham man as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think he had his team. He had his 2 best players, Neto and Kilman, both come out of that team in the summer.
Yeah.
Didn't really replace them. And I think that shows.
No, they didn't. Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, there's something going on behind me. I think my daughter's doing a beauty pageant training. So if you see anything behind me, you're watching on YouTube, that's what's going on behind me. There's always stuff going on in our house. We're filming this in my house here, so just that's what that looks like.
But Wolves, though, they spent a little bit in the summer, but they lost a lot more.
Yeah, and they're not getting it right at the moment. It's probably going to be they're rock bottom.
Yeah, they haven't. Are they the only team that haven't won yet?
1 point.
Is it 1 point?
And Southampton got the other.
So Southampton haven't won either.
No, so it's not looking good. Considering, to be honest with you, Ipswich have been really poor.
What are they on?
4 points. And Palace are just blown. I know they're playing today, but then Palace are on 3 points. Palace, I thought were going to have a really good season.
Yeah,
they finished last season.
That manager,
so well.
when he took over from Hodgson, he
had a couple of games that didn't work, and then it kind of...
Yeah.
And that guy they got up front, Mateta, it is Mateta, isn't it, the French guy? He's brilliant. He was on a scoring run.
I mean, they've got 3 or 4 really good players.
Yeah. But yeah, so City pulled it back, got the goal late on. Controversially, Bernardo Silva's in front of the keeper. And then as Stones heads it, he's out of his iron line and he's scored. It's actually clever thinking from Silva.
I mean, it was worked. It was worked out. It was clearly.
Some people have said...
Well, he nudged the keeper.
Yeah.
He did nudge him. I didn't see it when we were talking about it.
Yeah. I didn't until we got the replay.
Yeah, exactly.
But my thing is, and Grealish I think said it as well, like he's only small, but like Bernardo Silva, but the keeper's got to be a bit strong.
The keeper's got to be like, mate, you're 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
And I'm 6'5".
Throw him out of the way.
Yeah.
Peter Schmeichel, big someone, they just throw him out of the
Yeah,
way. Toss him
yeah,
out of the way.
yeah.
I think what we got from this weekend was the biggest takeaway I got from this weekend's football was how poor the goalkeepers are now.
When you say how poor, though, you mean how
many goals get given away by goalkeepers?
from ridiculous situations.
Front post goals.
Yeah.
I think there was a front post goal.
Front
Everton.
post goals. That's
West
bizarre.
Ham got 2 against them, I think. Areola.
Yeah.
From keepers kicking, which we're supposed to be like the best passing keepers now in the world. Areola gave away 1 straight into the middle of the field. Sanchez gave away 1 straight into the centre of the field. And
You mean when you say the kicking, you mean the long
kicking, short passing.
Short
they
passing,
get caught out of
yeah,
it all the time. Sanchez got caught out early in against Liverpool, where he managed to get it back. I think it was off Curtis Jones. But there was a lot of goalkeeping mistakes. Brentford keeper against Manchester United dropped it nearly in his own net. Keepers don't seem to be able to catch a ball anymore.
Do you think it's, I mean, obviously it's by design, right? But do you think this is done almost through, like for Chelsea, for example, right? Chelsea keeper is not good. He's not a good
Not a top
goalkeeper.
keeper.
He's not a good, he shouldn't be playing for Chelsea.
No.
I don't think. But these managers, it's almost through ego that they're like, no, this is how we have to play. Like maybe they've seen what happened with Company, where he got a team relegated and then goes and gets the Bayern Munich job.
And that's probably, there is
That's
a bit of that
crazy.
in there, because he stuck to his principles. I think it's weird, but he is top of the league for Bayern Munich right now, which I think that is...
But
then
I would be top of the league with Bayern Munich.
And you've got principles, but if you can't adapt your team at all, then you're not a top manager. Because you're saying, I'm going to play that way. Well, but I don't care if we get relegated.
It's the Postecoglou argument, isn't it? Like he says this is how we play, end the story, and then.
Although Ange this week, I actually love Postecoglou. I think he's great.
I like him as well.
So
But he's
Tottenham
not.
beat West
He's
Ham.
not adaptable though.
Well,
or he doesn't appear to be at least.
Yeah, so I'm going to explain this one this week. So he won that game with a tactical change this week. Okay, West Ham were poor. We were 1-1 at half-time. He took James Maddison off, who had set the goal up for West Ham, because Tottenham were playing with 2 number 10s and someone just behind. I think Basuma, I might be wrong with that. Kulusevski and Maddison. He took Maddison off at half-time, which was a big call. Maddison clearly
He
wasn't
takes
happy.
him off every game though.
But he took him off at half-time. It's
Yeah,
quite
that's
a big
true.
one,
Yeah,
right?
that's
And it's
different.
1-1.
Yeah.
And he put, because West Ham were getting a lot of the midfield, he put Sarr on. Sarr created 2 or 3 goals and absolutely shut up shop of where West Ham were getting space.
Okay.
And stopped it. So
That must be the first time he's ever done it then.
yeah, but they were still playing going forward. It was probably helped that he played a team that was so bad in West Ham that they were just defensive mistakes
that's
all
helpful,
over the place.
Yeah.
But because I don't actually think Tottenham are an amazing side, I think they're okay. They'll do okay. They'll be around the 8th.
You don't think they'll get top 4?
No, I don't think they'll be even close. I think
Really?
there's a lot better teams than Tottenham.
Who?
I think Chelsea
Obviously.
are a much better side this year.
Do you know what? Chelsea surprised me.
I
against
think
Liverpool.
Villa are a much better side. I think Villa are a really good team.
Villa's Champions League might trip them up.
People keep saying that, but they've got 2 strikers in this Duran and Watkins. They've bought
Look
well
at
in
Newcastle
the summer as
last year, though.
Newcastle, I think, are a good side.
No, I mean, look at Newcastle last year because Newcastle are a good team.
I don't
But
think
last
Newcastle
year,
had the depth that Villa's got, in some sense.
I think they maybe don't have the manager that Villa's got.
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
Emery is a superb manager who could walk around Europe with his eyes closed.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Other game probably to mention is Liverpool-Chelsea.
Yeah.
Now, we both said, I think that was quite close to an old football game.
It reminded me of the old Liverpool-Chelsea games.
Yeah.
Where actually, funnily enough, I was
Both
speaking-
teams, that first half was quick. It was end to end, wasn't it?
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah. I mean, it was. We spoke at half time, and I said, "This is why Liverpool obviously winning 1-0 at half time," and I said, "This is wide open. This could go either way."
Yeah.
And then Chelsea scored, and then obviously Liverpool scored right after, and then Fortunately, Slot just shut up shop
Yeah.
at that point. Brought Gomez off, took Trent off, I think like late 60s or early 70 minutes. But I spoke to my brother yesterday and I said, because he was there with his little boy, and I said, it sounded amazing.
Yeah.
Like the atmosphere. And he said, you know what? The first 15 minutes was shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was surprised because I was like, it sounded like an old Liverpool, like Benitez Mourinho era type game. And he's like, no, the first 15 minutes were not that good. But he said once, I don't know, he told me something happened. And the Arsenal did exactly the same last year. When the managers or the players start getting the crowd up at Anfield, it completely changes the whole dynamic of the game.
Yeah.
Because the crowd just lift up almost instantly by 50%. And he said something happened, I can't remember what it was, but it was like an old Premier League game. It was, as I say, like an old Benitez Mourinho.
Well, he seems to have come in slot. No one really knew what was going to happen with Klopp, obviously leaving.
Yeah.
He slotted in. But excuse the pun, but he's gone about his business, and really he's actually taken a load of pressure off himself, which would have been there.
Yeah.
Because you look at Ten Hag, for example, he's come in. He looks like he's a dead man walking.
But he's never looked any different.
Never. He looks like Slot came in, I suppose maybe he had a better team that he took over, a much better team, actually, we'll say. A better training ground, better presence, all that sort of stuff that was going on.
Definitely
at Liverpool.
a better infrastructure and all that kind of
and
stuff.
Maybe he looked and said, I'm not going to change it too much here because I've got a load of winners. I don't know what he's done. I know he put his own staff in all this stuff, but maybe he kept it a bit like the same, but a little bit different without coming in saying, listen, that always dead. This is my way now.
Right, which I think was what Moyes did after Ferguson.
And kind of got it wrong.
Yeah.
But because you didn't really need to rip up the playbook too much at Liverpool, it was going okay like that.
I mean, we could have... we were not a million miles... We were not close, but we were not a million miles away from winning the league last year.
Chiesa,
yeah.
Who hasn't even played, has he?
He's played once. I think he's injured, actually.
So it's not like that. They've changed his team around.
Nothing's changed.
So they've kind of kept it going.
And also, Alisson's out. Alisson's going to be out for the next.
Massive.
I think Alisson's the best goalkeeper in the world.
He's definitely there.
Yeah, he's.
And it's a big loss because the other guy, is it Kelleher?
Queeve. It's fucking crazy first name. Queven Kelleher.
Yeah.
Very good though.
Very good keeper, but not. He's not at Alisson's level. There's a different level.
Well, I mean, when you're the best in the...
I think he's going to be a good keeper, this guy, though. He looks good from what I've seen.
Kelleher?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean... And
who was the one that was years ago that played in you with the Champions League?
Oh, fucking...
It was a similar name, wasn't
it? Fella. No.
Useless.
Well, he lost us the Champions League.
Yeah. Dropped the ball to Benzema, didn't he?
That was the one... Is that the one we watched?
Yeah.
It was.
Wine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anyway, whatever his name, I'm glad I don't even remember his name because he was fucking terrible. But no, this Kelleher is really good, and I actually think he'll sign for someone else.
Yeah, so he's probably going to go to a club. He can't
he's
be
got
number
to.
two.
No, he's
but he
too
might
good.
be looking at Alisson soon. How old's Alisson now?
He's not that old. I think he's 32.
He's probably got a couple more years.
He
might still bide his time, the guy.
Well, the thing is with Liverpool, right? We've got Alisson's contract expires, I think, at the end of next season.
Yeah.
You've got Trent, Van Dijk, and Salah, who's, and by the way, I'm reliably informed by an Egyptian that it's not Salah, it's Salah.
Salah.
That's how you pronounce it.
Sorry,
Mo. They're all out at the end of the year.
If they don't get them new contracts, but then there's a thing of, if they do give them a new contract, got them big money, and could they spend that better on someone else?
Not for those three. I don't know. I really don't know, but for those three, especially for Trent.
Yeah.
If nothing else, Trent's a financial asset for the club.
Oh, Trent will be a huge loss.
Like Liverpool could literally pay him 500 grand a week, and say we'll sell you next year.
I wonder if
and still make money on that.
Yeah,
new
I
contract.
wonder if Madrid or someone is going to come in.
Well, it looks like.
I mean, it looks tough to turn that down because in experience, I know we all get, and this is football. You think that because you're from the city, you can never leave, you can never do this.
Yeah.
But then people like Jude Bellingham, who are probably more soccer, have come in,
Bellingham's
taken a different route to, like, from Birmingham, went to Dortmund, which was a really tough choice at that age.
Yeah.
Then to
What
Real
was he?
Madrid.
18 he was, right?
Like, even Real Madrid at his age now, because he's only 21 or something now, isn't he? He's only young, isn't he?
He's very
so
young.
He's taken probably more that soccer route. He's global star. He's face of Skims. He's all these different Louis Vuitton. I think he's face of Predator. He's face of Adidas. He's the new man. I'd say he's more soccer, and he's kind of taken that route. So it's different.
He's taking a commercial route, is what you're saying.
Without putting his football at risk.
Right. Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah, of course.
It seems like he's got a very good mum and dad that are
He
close
does,
by.
he does,
I think they moved out there with him.
No, apparently, it's funny. I was reading this the other day. Apparently, I think his mum moved there with him.
And the dad lives with the other brother.
Yeah, because his other brother. Who does his other brother play?
He was
for?
at Sunderland, wasn't he? At one point, Job, I think his name
Job.
is.
Yeah.
Apparently, his dad was a good striker, good non-league striker.
Was he really?
Yeah, apparently he's a really good striker.
But apparently, his little brother's really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it is level, but he's a good.
You never know.
He's
I mean, he
in the
must.
league. Sunderland,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still at Sunderland, but they're top of the league. Sunderland
they?
in the Championship. I think that's probably we've got to wrap it up there. What we want to do as well, there's a giveaway we want to do. So my friend at the merchandise company, Stoey. So if you want to see merchandise, look at Stoey X on Instagram. He's the best in the game for merchandise. We've got some merchandise off him, and I think today, for the first episode, we're going to give away a iconic British shirt, which is a Euro 96 Paul Gascoigne inspired shirt.
Can I apply for this?
Yeah, and it is signed by the man himself. So it's not a match worn shirt, I just want to say, but it is.
But
it's the exact same shirt that Gazza wore in the matches against Scotland, where he scored probably England's best ever goal. If you're a young kid and you don't know who Paul Gascoigne is,
God.
He was the Messi of England.
If you're a young kid,
but he done it while drinking lots of alcohol.
He didn't mess around, did he?
So we got it signed by that.
By the way, if you're a young kid and you don't know who Paul Gascoigne is, you need to know in the next
Easier to you'll know him as Gazza. Go and have a look at Gazza and what he did.
Just don't Google Gazza dentist shirt.
Yeah,
that's it's not the best the best image, but my God, Gazza. He's probably Gazza's. I think Gazza or Wayne Rooney's the best English player ever.
Gazza or Wazza.
Gazza or Wazza.
And that's
why he's called Wazza.
Wazza. So we're going to give away Gazza's shirt, signed shirt, this week. As I say, thanks to Stoey X on Instagram. What you got to do to win it? So you've got to subscribe to the pod and whatever. Subscribe to our YouTube, which is Football or Soccer Podcast. You've got to follow us on Instagram, which is Football or Soccer Pod. And then you have to rate the pod on whatever you're listening to it, whether it be Spotify or Apple. You have to go on, just give us a 5-star rating.
Give us a 5-star rating.
And if you do them 3 things, we're going to choose a winner for next week. And obviously, we'd love you to share our clips, anything like that. But please also send in any questions you've got, you want us to answer, anything you want out there. We're going to do a little bit more. This is a bit of a longer episode today because it's the first one. But we're going to do a little bit more game analysis as the weeks go on, and we'll see where it goes. Some good guests lined up. So I want to keep you all up to date with what's going on. Follow the Instagram, and we'll have all the news on there.
Yeah, we'll put the links in for those socials. And if there's anything specific that you want us to talk about, then obviously comment.
Just drop us a DM or comment.
Yeah.
And we hope you all enjoyed it. It's been fun doing it, and we will see you. So this will come out Monday every single week. If you're listening in the UK, it probably comes out Tuesday because you've been in bed. So it's going to come out while you're asleep.
What time is it at home now?
It's probably, what is it?
5 to 7.
5 to 7
10 to 7, sorry.
Yeah, 10 to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So you're definitely going to get it while you're asleep. So
Yeah,
you're going to get
tomorrow,
it early
yeah.
Tuesday morning
yeah.
to listen to the train on the way to work.
On a car, the train, or on your bike. When
And I
you're
say
walking
it
the
will be
dog.
on YouTube as well, so you can watch us, see how good looking we are.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, anyway, it is 11 a.m. here now, so I am going to work. Thank you very much, and we'll see you later.
Cheers. Thank you.